Today we have a lot to talk about. I want to get into Jung Kook saying he wants to try something other than singing. I want to talk about Jung Kook being robbed from something he did in his house. And then I want to get into a lawsuit that is maybe the last one. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumpling, tea spilling mug merch, and let's go. The first thing that we need to address is a recent lawsuit that is happening. But before we talk about that, I do have to give some backstory on everything going on. HYBE quarterly and regularly posts statements to Weverse and social media to let fans know that they are constantly taking legal action on people who leave mean comments on social media. They do this every couple of months, and the reason why the only label that really keeps the fandom updated is because time and time again, armies love to send huge trucks with billboards on them protesting better treatment and for HYBE to take action against malicious commenters. And the most annoying thing about this to me is that these specific people who are behind the fan clubs that send the billboard trucks are often people who don't actually care about BTS members or have any idea what type of hate BTS members are even receiving. They just like collecting money from the fandom to send these billboard trucks because it makes them feel powerful, it makes them feel like they're doing good in the world. And oftentimes it's over things that a company can't regularly speak about publicly. If a company is taking legal action, they cannot specify who they're taking action on and the details about the case. That's all confidential, as it would typically involve confidential information since it's with a company and a person. The company then has to talk about said trade secrets in order for the case to be heard properly and for things to be understood by a judge. I get annoyed at having to explain that to the people who are sending billboard trucks to HYBE, because if you don't know how the world works, then don't start taking these very dramatic and desperate measures. And what I just said about the trial stuff has nothing to do with entertainment. This is just what most people know and how court and law works, which is the whole thing that these fans are fighting for. So figure out how that stuff works before claiming HYBE isn't doing anything. So HYBE releases those statements to ensure fans that things are always being looked into. This particular statement I want to talk about was a little different. The statement brought up someone going to a police office and something crazy that they did. Again, didn't specify details and they likely could not. It was interesting when Jin read that statement and left a response on Weverse asking what on earth did this person do or say to end up at the police office. And this is a great question, but also shows that BTS members may still have less idea what goes on behind the scenes or what people say about the members, which is good. They shouldn't read that stuff. But the fact that Jin has no idea how bad these comments get and that these people do indeed need to go to jail is interesting to me. But it brought up this question of if this was something that was finally being made aware of by the members. Does this mean that this will no longer happen anymore and that once Jin has made aware and possibly involved in the lawsuit against the commenter, will comments like this start to lessen? Will this be a final lawsuit? I think a lot of people who are leaving these comments don't ever think that they will be next, but it's starting to seem like the members are aware of it and taking action. People are always scared of BTS members or Jung Kook specifically reading those comments and being upset, and so being so upset that they will end up quitting music, it's easy for someone who is on the outside to say ignore the comments or forget the haters. But when it's so intense and there's people showing up to your apartment or causing you to lose opportunities, this is how someone who ends up unaliving themselves. And if you speak to the celebrities who've been a part of some really bad scandals, they will tell you that that's how they felt. It's no surprise there, and a lot of celebrities will also lose their friends too. Luckily, there's never been a scandal that Jung Kook has been a part of where any of that has happened. And I use the word scandal to talk about backlash. Idols getting backlash for certain things. This of course includes situations they shouldn't be getting backlash for, like dating. So not every scandal is someone deserving of losing their career. And so idols often feel like they can't even respond or explain their side of the story. And it's never the same. Once the issue gets big enough where someone has to apologize or whatever, the scandal is often bigger than the apology. So some people aren't even aware the apology exists. Jung Kook spoke about wanting to try something different, and some people freaked out for the reasons I just mentioned above, but he wanted to try his hand at rapping more. This was discovered when Jung Kook got an interview with the YouTube channel called KPop on Spotify. This is of course by Spotify, and they wanted to give Jung Kook an interview. Jung Kook answered one question saying that rapping is something he would love to try. Not that Jung Jungkook is planning on quitting music or singing in general, but just that rapping is something he would enjoy trying out, and I think he would be good at it. Jungkook has rapped before. If you go back to old songs, you'll hear Jungkook rap. He was, however, never a part of the official rap line. He was always just considered as a singer, and this tends to confuse people, but singers and rappers can definitely interchange their skills often, and that's okay. Singers can also want to be rappers. Jungkook kind of raps in 7 a little bit, and we can hear that he sounds quite catchy. I wouldn't be surprised if the album consists of a little rapping here and there. I also don't believe Jungkook would ever quit singing. I think singing is what he does best, and he would prefer to continue doing that. I think he would want a rapper just because he wants to have rap verses in a song. So why not do it yourself as opposed to hiring another rapper? If you're unaware of these features, you have to pay for them. Sometimes it's upwards of 50K for a verse, sometimes it's much more if the rapper is much bigger. And in many cases, it's not like the clout an artist would bring to the song would be that different from just if the song was super good. Nowadays, getting famous doesn't require someone already famous, but just one person who puts out really good content. There's been, however, a lot of drama with Jungkook, and it's hard to believe so much happens, but when you're out and you're a public figure, you'd be surprised at how often things happen, because things will happen and things will be built around your name and you're not even aware of it happening. So what am I referring to here today? A little while ago, Jungkook posted on Weverse a special recipe. This was sort of a cute midnight snack that Jungkook loves to make, and it involved a specific ramen brand, and then of course Jungkook's own special magic that he adds to it. Jungkook made sure to add into the post that he did not get hacked, and this was indeed him sharing something very special to him. The specific brand that he was using the noodle of sold out or got a tremendous spike in sales that the CEO obviously noticed. You can find that story if you look it up. I've talked about it before. I won't get too into it here, but the company then tried to trademark for copyright this recipe, and specifically the name that Jungkook gave the recipe. This was controversial because ARMYs were upset that this company was trying to bank off of an innocent creation that Jungkook did for ARMY, and naturally people get upset when you try to take a fun thing and then attempt to add capitalism to it. I'm not upset over the backlash, I get it. So the company did respond to say their reasoning behind doing that was to protect the recipe and not let other companies attempt to steal it. But I think the copyright or trademark never actually happened, either due to the backlash or due to the fact that it was Jungkook's recipe and the officials didn't want to copyright. I don't know. So fast forward to more recently, a different company came out with a recipe that looked very familiar to ARMYs, saying that it was a copy of Jungkook's recipe. Before the product even came out, it got tremendous backlash. I mean, they were just doing promo for it and people were not happy. Very quickly, the company released a statement to say that they listened to the backlash and they will not be going forward with the production of this product. They of course apologized. ARMYs were naturally upset, saying that Jungkook got robbed of something he did in his apartment, and it was by this company or people who were stalking Jungkook's social media for a while and knew of this recipe. But wasn't this literally the issue that the other company was saying, and that is why they wanted to copyright, but people were upset? I will say it's very gracious of this newer company to cancel the production of this product out of respect, because they don't have to. The recipe is not copyrighted. In Korea, recipes cannot be copyrighted, and they have no obligation to even credit Jungkook. So I'm glad they took the more ethical approach, and I personally would have seen if Jungkook would have wanted to collaborate rather than just making the noodles and trying to sell it without crediting Jungkook. And a lot of ARMYs were saying that the company needed to credit Jungkook, but if they never asked Jungkook or he never agreed to be a part of it, I think legally there are issues with adding his name, because then it implies to the consumer that it is endorsed by Jungkook, and it was not. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just a little bit comment right here. Love you, bye.